Imagine Rome, a city of relentless ambition and endless dust, suddenly stilled by disbelief. Not by an emperor's decree or the clash of 100 swords, but by the arrival of a most curious creature. It glides past the cobblestones, a silhouette tall and impossibly elegant, as if plucked from a distant dream, its coat a constellation of spots. This is no Roman legend nor Egyptian myth. It is a giraffe, a camelopardalis. And with every graceful step, it challenges Rome's invincible heart. From the forum's shadows, citizens watch, entranced. Little do they know, this gentle giant is about to stir a storm. Picture yourself amidst the vibrant pulse of ancient Rome, where columns rise high and arches cast long shadows over the bustling streets. The city buzzes with anticipation, its citizens gathered for what they assume will be another grand display of Roman triumph. But today the spectacle unfolds differently. Instead of familiar trophies of conquest, the crowd witnesses something that seems to step out from the seams of legend itself. A creature so unusual, it appears dreamlike at first. Gradually, reality sharpens and hushed whispers ripple through the crowd. Gone are tales of myth. Standing before them is a giraffe, known to Romans as a camelopardalis, a real being in the flesh. This wasn't just any animal. It was an extraordinary contradiction of nature. Towering above the tallest citizens, it moved with a grace unexpected for something of its size. Its skin adorned with spots akin to a leopard's, yet it walked with a camel's stride. Its elongated neck swayed rhythmically as its eyes, rich with curiosity, skimmed over the astonished faces. The giraffe was not just a testament to Rome's reach. Its exotic presence was a silent envoy from realms beyond their comprehension, sparking a profound confrontation with the unknown. Amid the hustle and sensory overload of the Roman Forum, the giraffe treaded forward, a moving mosaic of textures and hues. The air thrummed with sounds, a symphony of wheel clatters, whispered amazement, and the occasional shop vendor's call. In its ethereal strangeness, the giraffe seemed to transcend the physical, painting an ever-shifting image as it progressed gracefully through the assembly. For the Romans, so accustomed to order and logic, this gentle giant presented an optical puzzle of chaos and wonder. Its head, adorned with soft ossicones in place of horns, crowned the gentle slope of its neck, a sight both baffling and beautiful. As iron-tipped spears clanged nearby and livestock brayed, awe-struck bystanders stood transfixed. A baker, forgetting everything, let a fresh loaf slip from his grasp, while children strained on tippy toes, eager to capture every detail in their memory. The giraffe, unfazed by the commotion, continued on, its dappled hide illuminated by light slicing through Roman architecture. What unfolded was more than just a visual delight. It was a full-bodied experience, a narrative weaving itself under the vast, unyielding blue sky of Rome. As the giraffe glided onward, the crowd shifted like a restless sea, drawn in by this earthly marvel. Initial disbelief paved the way for a tapestry of emotions. Curiosity mingled with awe, skepticism danced with fascination. Romans from all walks of life gathered tightly, seasoned legionaries with faint medals from prior conquests and young scholars clinging to their parchments, each seeking to decipher what such a creature foreboded. Was it an omen, a symbol of change sent by distant gods, or a statement affirming Rome's immeasurable dominance? Their reactions were mirrors reflecting deeper truth within them, their hopes and fears laid bare. Nobles, who often moved with unchallenged authority, felt a humbling sense of wonder as the giraffe's silhouette eclipsed even their tallest aspirations. It was an invasion, a moment where mythology intertwined with their reality. As whispers swirled through cobbled lanes, the giraffe transformed beyond mere creature into a beacon of enigma, an actor on Rome's grand stage, bestowing dreams upon children and rekindling tales for elders. The air hummed with truth as old as time. Imagination had met reality in the hoofprints of the camelopardalis. To Romans, its name signified an exotic mix, a linguistic puzzle melding camel and leopard into something both bewildering and familiar. Unlike the beast before it, lions, elephants, rhinos, the giraffe neither roared with ferocity nor submitted in civility. It existed peacefully, its very being defying the violent narratives so entwined in Roman spectacle. Within Rome's scholarly and imperial catalogue, the giraffe stood apart, a silent paradox neither driven by primal instincts nor theatre's aggression. It evoked philosophical musings and spiritual contemplation, drawing the audience into reflections of a world vaster than they had imagined. Ancient texts were scoured for fitting descriptions, but language faltered in the glow of its presence, struggling to encapsulate what stood beyond explanation. A creature more evocative than words, untouched by Rome's measures of might. In this encounter's wake, the Romans found their worldview subtly altered. Before the giraffe's appearance, they had been content as the world's axle. Now confronted with something striding elegantly beyond their ken, thoughts shifted, expanded, reaching for new horizons. Each citizen felt a deep, subconscious understanding that this moment transcended time, a rare intersection of myth and reality, birthing new stories to echo through generations. Defying classification, the giraffe transported them beyond imperial rigidity. It bore strength, harmony, divinity, or perhaps it simply embodied alluring mystery. Free from aggression or submission, it balanced in the space between nature and civility, foreign and known. As it moved through Rome's chaos with tranquil poise, the giraffe opened a portal to understanding realms within and beyond their perception. This unexpected encounter with a creature so foreign, yet so fascinating, left an indelible mark on the Roman psyche. The stories that followed, embellished through time, ensured the giraffe remained emblematic of Rome's encounter with the unknowable. Its passage told of harmony beyond conquest, a simple yet profound reminder that even within the confines of an empire, wonders existed to dazzle the imagination and draw eyes toward uncharted horizons. Cleopatra, the enigmatic ruler of Egypt, was well versed in the art of diplomacy and spectacle. When she sent a giraffe to Julius Caesar, it wasn't just a gesture of goodwill, it was a cleverly calculated political move. In the ancient world, gifts spoke volumes, and this exotic creature, majestic yet strange, was a powerful symbol. With its unique form and exotic allure, it represented both the wealth of Egypt and Cleopatra's shrewdness. She knew this gift would captivate Caesar and the Roman public, fortifying her standing in the intricate weave of ancient politics. Transporting such a formidable creature was no small feat. Known to the Romans as camelopardalis, the giraffe embarked on a journey that mirrored the interconnected nature of the ancient world. Cleopatra arranged for Nubian handlers, skilled in the giraffe's care, to accompany it. The streets of Rome buzzed with whispers as word of its arrival spread, punctuated by curious onlookers, eager to glimpse the oddity. Cleopatra's presence was a silent assertion that Egypt, with its rich culture and booming trade, was more than just a distant realm. It was entwined with the great Roman epic. When this creature finally set foot in Rome, it was met with wide-eyed wonder and perplexity. To Romans, the giraffe, with its extraordinary neck and patterned skin, was an exotic mystery. For many Romans, who had rarely journeyed beyond their borders, this was an encounter with the unknown, challenging their perceptions of the world. Amid Rome's waves of stone statues and bustling forums, this living, breathing symbol of Africa demanded attention. It was not merely an animal, it was a statement of the limitless possibilities in a largely unexplored world. This event unfolded at a time when Rome thrived on spectacle. Public displays of exotic animals were the empire's propaganda, proof of Rome's might and reach. But the giraffe was different. It was placed on display not merely as a creature, but as evidence of Rome's expanding horizon. In a city that prided itself on its monumental feats, the giraffe further solidified the empire's image of grandeur. It drew throngs not just to marvel but to reflect on Rome's ambition. Wrapped in silks, the giraffe was more than an animal. It was a testament to Cleopatra's opulence. Silks were a symbol of wealth and power, and their eastern origins befitted the exoticism of the giraffe. As the creature walked through Rome, its silky adornment glinting in the sunlight, the message was clear. A well-conceived diplomatic display meant to astonish and illuminate Cleopatra's intricate planning. The Nubian handlers, often overlooked, were crucial to this intricate equation. They ensured the safety and well-being of this royal gift, their presence adding yet another layer of cultural depth to the story. Their familiarity with the giraffe was essential. They were the guardians of Cleopatra's intent, translating her silent diplomacy into action. Amidst the Roman curiosity, their distinct attire and dignified demeanour showcased the deep cultural roots they represented, bridging the gap between the familiar and the foreign. In the grand theatre of ancient politics, Cleopatra made moves with a vision that defied mere practicality. By sending this giraffe, she was positioning herself in the Roman consciousness, a deliberate ploy to forge alliances and cultivate awe. Just as the Nile's prosperity nurtured Egypt, Cleopatra's gift nurtured her relationship with Caesar and Rome, intertwining her legend with Roman destiny. Exotic gifts in Roman diplomacy bridged gaps words couldn't. Cleopatra's gift was a silent envoy, a diplomatic masterstroke communicating power and intention through its sheer strangeness. It was an artful blend of allure and political manoeuvring, a subtle testament to Rome's global reach and the web of trade-binding empires together. In this cultural spectacle, early encounters with the giraffe oscillated between wonder and confusion. Rome's eye for the theatrical found a new narrative to ponder as the creature's arrival challenged the city's embrace of novel experiences. As a live act in a grand play, the giraffe's entrance into Roman life echoed themes of power, mystery, and connection. The very appearance of the giraffe led to cultural misunderstandings, with some Romans believing it to have magical qualities. Their myth-making enveloped the animal in stories that spread as swiftly as the creature itself moved. The giraffe became a legend, interwoven with Roman mythology, shaping the city's beliefs. The giraffe's presence in Rome ignited a spark of curiosity, influencing artistic endeavours and philosophical debates. It reshaped the Roman imagination, teasing the boundaries between the known and the unknown, pushing society to question established conventions amid their hunger for exploration and knowledge. Ultimately, Cleopatra's gifting of the giraffe was a moment where worlds collided. It etched a narrative into the annals of Rome, transforming from an event to a symbol. Cleopatra's gesture showcased the delicate dance of power and recognition, leaving an indelible legacy on the path of Rome's relentless quest for empire, etching its silent steps into history. In the sprawling empire of Rome, Augustus and his successors didn't just rule lands, they collected them piece by flamboyant piece in the form of menageries. These collections of exotic animals, filled with lions, elephants and flamingos, acted not just as curiosities but as living trophies, a testament to the empire's massive expanse. Care to imagine the sight. Lions prowling, elephants trumpeting, each magnificent beast paraded through Rome to stand as a roaring testimony of power. Citizens cheered and marvelled as these creatures graced their streets, each one a reminder that Rome's influence stretched from the scorching African deserts to the dense, mysterious jungles far beyond their city's walls. Beyond simple ownership, these menageries told stories rich with ritual and symbolism. Animals weren't just inhabitants of cages, they were embodiments of Rome's might and the emperor's divine favour. Careful observers would see these gatherings as demonstrations of the emperor's assumed role as an earthly ruler mirroring divine authority. Kings of beasts kept on leashes or behind bars became part of the grand narrative that Rome controlled everything under its heavens. It was propaganda at its finest, a blend of spectacle and statecraft, turning fur and feathers into fonts of imperial pride and Roman identity. In this spectacle, the giraffe stood apart. Picture it, a curious anomaly with its long neck and spotted coat, distinctly dubbed camel leopard by baffled Roman observers. Unlike its noisy counterparts, the roaring lions or stampeding elephants, the giraffe moved with a quiet grace, serene and almost otherworldly to the bustling Roman crowd. For the gazing citizens, it was an enigma, its presence proof that Rome could reach even the world's most mysterious corners. If Rome could import this marvel from distant lands, what could possibly remain beyond its grasp? The giraffe left Romans introspective. Bold conquerors met an animal that simply, nonchalantly was. Its mere existence, defying control and classification, symbolised Rome's power not just to subdue, but to encounter the exotic and embrace the unexplained. Rome's menageries were more than just animal exhibitions. They were extravagant displays of political theatre. Each beast was carefully curated, a living embodiment of victory plucked from the remote corners of Roman conquest. But the giraffe, with its gentle demeanour, played a unique role. Unlike the fierce creatures that blustered in cages, it showed Rome's capacity for diplomacy rather than domination, a subtle diplomat from uncharted lands. While emperors flaunted their might with lions and bears, the giraffe quietly conveyed Rome's softer, diplomatic aspirations. In its serene strolls, it offered whispers of peace, in an era otherwise governed by the clamour of conquest. Feeding and caring for such a creature posed challenges that called for creativity and attention. Roman caretakers, tasked with maintaining this enigmatic life form, plunged into a logistical dance, importing greenery and employing Nubian handlers to bridge the gap between the giraffe's native ecology and its new home. From the giraffe's diet to its accommodation, everything mirrored Rome's grander abilities to sustain and manage a diverse empire. And while the logistical struggle was immense, the giraffe, surviving in the heart of marble arches, stood as evidence of Rome's capacity for innovation. But there was something more. an undercurrent of superstition intertwined with these living relics of lands afar. To Romans particularly, the concept of omens and augury was unavoidable. Every creature was more than its physical form. It spoke of gods and divinities, straddling the line between real and mythic. The giraffe, with its unusual physiognomy, easily seeded stories of celestial symbolism, adding layers to the mythic tapestry upon which Rome was woven. To the public, the giraffe wasn't merely an organic oddity, it was a nexus of meanings, a living, breathing relic of divine and mythological allure. The giraffe's novelty seeped into cultural consciousness, unspooling its influence through art and literature. Artists captured its ethereal form, embedding it in mosaics and frescoes that served as windows into foreign wonders. Writers penned stories and verses that echoed its curious grace, transforming a living creature into a symbol for the empire's limitless horizons. Indeed, the giraffe offered artisans and intellectuals alike a muse, a gateway to ponder, and depict Roman identity against the broader canvas of exploration and dominance. The sight of this gawky giant stirred conversations across Rome's bustling streets, and serene bathhouses alternately filled with awe, fear, and delight. This towering visitor challenged perceptions, a symbol of both Rome's reach and the world's endless mystery. For the Roman public, the giraffe became a mirror reflecting the empire's insatiable curiosity and boundless urge to understand the outer world, evoking questions as much as it inspired tales. Through its presence, Romans could ponder their own identities and fates, not only as powerful conquerors, but also as reluctant patrons of the unknown, ready to accept, embrace, and ultimately enshrine the unparalleled mystery of this gentle nomad into the annals of history. As the sun reached its zenith, Rome buzzed with a mix of anticipation and chaos. But the residents of this bustling empire today bore the promise of a spectacle beyond any public spectacle they had been accustomed to. The emperor, likely Julius Caesar or Augustus, had orchestrated an event intended not just to entertain, but to showcase the empire's mighty reach. Citizens abandoned their daily routines, merchants closed stalls early, artisans abandoned their tools, and families adorned in their finest robes made for the forum. Once a hub for debates and political drama, it transformed into a theatre of wonder. Amongst the throng were seasoned veterans of Rome's expansive conquests. Their scepticism dormant, curiosity piqued. And so, with a trumpet's clarion call, the emperor signalled the arrival of a creature spoken of only in rumours and tales. A camelopardalis or giraffe. Leading this majestic beast were Nubian handlers, guiding it as the embodiment of the unfathomable beauty and exotic charm Rome desired to claim as a testament to its imperial influence. The crowd's initial reaction was one of disbelief and wonder. Silence blanketed the forum, save for the gentle whispers of those standing in awe. The giraffe moved gracefully, almost as if gliding over the cobblestones. Its long neck stretched skyward, and its dappled skin depicted a celestial design crafted by divine hands. For many, it was like gazing upon a creature pulled straight from myth, a living fable for Rome to behold. The emperor, basking in the orchestrated brilliance of this moment, stood resolute, enjoying the adulation flowing from his people. But with time, reverence morphed into restlessness. The silent appreciation of the giraffe's grace melted into clamour. Tales of its homeland, diet, and habits mixed with myths began to spread among the assembly, flavouring facts with wild conjecture. Gradually, the need to interact with this anomaly took precedence over respectful admiration. Young and old alike surged forward, driven by a primal urge to connect with this symbol of lands unexplored. Cheers transformed into a chorus of inquiries and exclamations, spurred by a blend of familiarity and frenzy. Amid this ruckus, offerings showered at the giraffe's feet, fruits, flowers, trinkets, a colourful tapestry of human adulation tinged with superstition. Some Romans saw in the giraffe a conduit to the divine, a sentiment that fueled the rain of gifts in hopes of touching the ethereal through the corporeal. Meanwhile, the giraffe, uprooted from its tranquil homeland, stood entrapped in the noise and fragrance of an alien world. Fear crept into its gentle eyes, its composure wavering as the crowd's excitement escalated into a tumultuous dance between admiration and chaos. The atmosphere grew tenser, electric with an unpredictable current. The giraffe's handlers, mindful but overpowered, gestured urgently, struggling against the tide of confusion swelling around them. Chaos now simmered, its essence swirling, a fragile balance threatened by the capricious nature of human curiosity blurring into disorder. The crowd pressed closer, its members entangled in the spectacle, oblivious or perhaps indifferent to the giraffe's mounting distress. A minor incident was all it took. A child stumbled too close to the animal, sending gasps through the onlookers. The giraffe, startled, emitted a quiet panic, its handler urgently trying to usher it back to calm, but the creature's instinct demanded retreat. The energy surrounding the gathering warped, shifting from shared admiration to an edge of unpredictability. Pulsating through was a volatile cocktail of societal hierarchy, dissolving into a collective upheaval where urgency trumps dignity. What followed unfolded just as any Roman with an ear for auguries might have expected. Order crumbled with startling swiftness, a misstep here, a jostle there, and soon fear's tendrils spread like fire across dry grass. The crowd swelled into a churning sea, each wave fed by the panic of the other, manifesting human nature unbound by decorum. What was once a harmonious gathering crumbled into a frenzy, engulfing the symbol of Rome's vast reach within the whirlwind of chaos it circumstantially incited. The giraffe moved erratically, its fear mirrored in the crowd, as spectacle blurred into bedlam. Handlers fought to assert control over the living, breathing representation of Rome's might. The epitome of exotic allure had transformed under stress into a beacon of pandemonium, caught as much by the emperor's dreams as by the impromptu reality thundering at its feet. Rome, with its revered legions and disciplined order, had momentarily unravelled, a reflection of the delicate nature residing within the heart of its coveted symbols. The emperor's grand display had uncovered not only empire's power and reach, but also its subtle vulnerability, hidden beneath the guise of grandeur, embodied by a creature simply longing to get back to the serenity of its distant, unassuming home. In the heart of Rome, rumours cloaked the city like a creeping fog, drifting quickly among its citizens. Each tale uttered more alarming than the last, tended by the breath of excited whispers. The giraffe's appearance was unnatural, a divine beast or perhaps an ominous visitor portending disaster. This was a city familiar with the exotica of distant lands, yet confronted now by a creature that defied comprehension. It stood there, towering and otherworldly, its serene presence unravelling reason and law alike. A shared hush settled in the amphitheatre, mingling with the scent of fear and superstition, as incense sellers and street preachers peddled their wares of divine interpretation. The giraffe's mere existence seemed to mock their ancient beliefs. It was a living conundrum, causing cracks to form in the unity of the crowd who teetered between awe and alarm. The amphitheatre, normally alive with gladiatorial roars and the bloodlust of combat, now pulsed with an uneasy tension. Gone were the days when spectacle merely meant violence and valour. Now people speculated if this elegant beast, displayed without the traditional sacrifices to Jupiter, was actually the animal embodiment of an Egyptian sphinx or a foreign deity demanding reverence and tribute. The fervour over this potential blasphemy surged like a wave of whispered heresy, transforming awe into palpable dread. In these whispers, the harbouring citizens questioned their emperor's wisdom, for had he unleashed a divine creature without proper homage? Even amid Rome's patricians, amulets were fingered nervously, while plebeians clung to ancient gestures for comfort. Down by the arena's southern edge, hidden from view, street priests proclaimed the Giraffe as nothing more than a misguided jest, yet their hysterical warnings only added fuel to the smouldering fire of public anxiety. That tension escalated swiftly into collective hysteria. Here in Rome's ordered chaos, they now saw an affront to all that was sacred. Rumours hardened into chants, carrying the weight of public discontent through Rome's crowded streets. A city so accustomed to predictable chaos now found itself facing an unprecedented breach. Cries of, "It's a test!" and pleas for clarity and mercy from their gods rang out as an undercurrent of defiance rose among the people. Market vendors packed their stalls, bids for quick blessings, mingling with disdainful dismissals of cursed trinkets, while children's ears were shielded from the blasphemy in the air. Order crumbled beneath the mounting cries, leaving Rome silently begging for leadership to tame the chaos. Yet the cries only grew louder, echoing against reality, as tangible as the ancient stones around them, while in their anxious centre stood the Giraffe, a silent creature of calm, ensnared unwittingly at the heart of Rome's burgeoning storm. Just as the amphitheatre swelled with these discordant cries, a stone arced over the gathering like a dangerous promise, striking the Giraffe with unsettling clarity. This singular act ignited the veritable powder keg of tension, pulling spectators into a swirling disorder where fear and misunderstanding eclipsed reason. At one moment, protective authorities attended to a political spectacle. In the next, the assembly had devolved into participants in a terrifying, ruleless game. Roman guards, ill-prepared for this unforeseen turmoil, sensed the imminent destruction rising from the crowd. Shields prepared for pomp now glinted with real danger, echoing the clattering of drawn swords. The weary guards held the thin strand of imperial authority, trying desperately to impose order on this transformation of majesty into madness. Yet Rome's authority, faced with such primal panic, felt fragile and uncertain. In an empire skilled at subduing beasts and conquering lands, it sought now to tame its own people, fluctuating and unpredictable as they were. Imperial symbols of order became beacons of resentment under the crowd's wrathful gaze. Caught in the throes of unyielding hysteria, the guards shifted from protectors to perceived enforcers of compliance, further stoking the flames of fear and outrage. And amidst this unravelling of sanity, where curiosity morphed to desperate survival, echoes of desperation resonated. Amidst this frenzy, voices rose atop high ground. The street preachers, with promises of salvation or doom, filled the air with dire predictions of divine satisfaction and retribution. They painted the scene as an apocalyptic tableau, their allure tightening civilization's grip in perilous union. Prophetic warnings slid easily into the crowd, constructing an alignment against imagined divine dissatisfaction. Their words resonated, conjuring tales of celestial discontent, offering followers actions both blessed and nightmarish. For a city balanced on the precipice of chaos, they became oracles in the gathering storm. For the ordinary Romans, peasants caught within this turmoil, the giraffe's presence bore stark resonance. Their anticipation of wonder twisted into reality, exposing the caprice of fate and unravelling Rome's imagined grandeur. The riot presented an unexpected levelling of power, situating the powerless beside the mighty, even if only momentarily. It was a brief, raw moment of anarchy where imperial veneer met the harsh stone of consequence. Their world of spectacle mystique unveiled the empire's vulnerabilities, and the collapse of spectacle into pandemonium reminded all of Rome's fragility. In the chaotic aftermath, the hunt began for a scapegoat, an attempt to find sense in senselessness. Muslims were pointed towards, guards blamed, and even the emperor faced muted whispers of culpability. It was an age-old ritual of shifting guilt, a dance tangled and necessary to search for conclusions amidst chaos. Noblemen bemoaned safety failures from balconies, while plebeians demanded ecclesiastical accountability. Across ancient cobblestones echoed the city's unrest, where unity dissipated and truth's blurred lines melded indistinguishably with myth. As the city's heartbeat returned to its regular rhythm, stories of the giraffe's impact became part of Rome's lore. Tales from that fateful day spread and grew, eternally entwined with echoes of a tranquil creature unwittingly thrust into the tide of chaos, teaching Rome and the world an age-old lesson: how even tranquility carries moments capable of unravelling the firmest of empires. In the heart of Rome, pandemonium erupted with the suddenness of a thunderstorm. The giraffe, overwhelmed by the roar of an unfamiliar crowd, sensed the air thickening with fear and anxiety. This towering creature, already an enigma to the Romans, now seemed to embody everything they dreaded. Amid cries of blasphemy and ominous whispers, the tumult swelled, rippling through the city's marble streets as the citizens grappled with their confusion. Some called on the gods, seeing the giraffe as an omen or divine test, while others simply stood, caught between wonder and terror. Caught in this swirling human tide, the giraffe stumbled. Its serene majesty gave way to a primal instinct to flee, transforming it into a mere creature driven by fear through an alien world. Handlers tugged futilely at ropes, their shouts swallowed by the chaos, as each jolt of the majestic beast mirrored Rome's inability to tame this living puzzle. The streets, once symbols of imperial power, now seemed fragile under the weight of this unanticipated turmoil. A reminder of humanity's struggle to control the mysteries of nature. Propelled by its instinct, the giraffe surged forward. Its stride, usually a graceful spectacle, now seemed a desperate dance of survival, as its long legs clattered on cobblestones, creating a cacophony of sound that resonated through the frenzied city. Amid the sea of faces and confusion, the giraffe became a towering beacon of urgency, its neck craned high in search of familiarity. Yet every leap, every awkward turn, was a poignant reminder of its displacement, an elegant creature adrift in a city too grand to comprehend. As it wound through Rome's labyrinthine streets, the giraffe left a wake of chaos. Merchants shouted in dismay as market stalls toppled, scattering perfumed oils and spices across the stone pathways. The mingling scents of cardamom and cedar punctuated the air, a sensory reminder of disrupted commerce and beauty interwoven with pandemonium. The giraffe unknowingly had turned these bustling avenues into impromptu theatres of upheaval. The spectacle united Romans from all walks of life, rich and poor, young and old, each caught in the whirlwind of this shared, chaotic experience. Amidst the screams, laughter erupted, a strange harmony of joy and disorder blurring societal lines. Its path unwittingly led the giraffe to one of Rome's sacred temples. As it brushed past, the awning collapsed with a deep groan, a symphony of shattered wood and ancient dust signalling a strange kind of divine intervention. Devotees gaped in awe, their prayers interrupted by the spectacle as the temple's grandeur crumbled around them. The fallen stones told a story of hubris, the city's fragile magnificence laid bare by the unforeseen visit of an ungainly beast. To some it was an omen, to others an untimely disaster bringing questions of faith and folly to the fore. The fleeing giraffe triggered a tide of human movement. Throngs surged and stumbled as they chased or fled, a frantic ballet of limbs and voices. In their fervour, many found themselves swept into an uncontrolled dance, their rhythm guided by both fear and fascination. Beneath the pounding of feet, citizens fell, victims of a chaotic chain reaction, as the city became an unintentional stage for this tragicomic performance. Ancient Rome meeting its own folly and motion. Handlers, desperate to regain control, pursued with ropes slackened and brows furrowed, their shouts mingling with the din. What started as a show of exotic curiosity now stood on the brink of disaster, the majestic animal, a tragic centerpiece to the unfolding drama of an unresolvable tension between man's dominion and nature's untamable spirit. With each twist through Rome's arteries, the handlers struggled, knowing the stakes reached beyond spectacle to the heart of the city's own dignity. Amid the chase, Romans became impromptu narrators of the incident, their imaginations kindled by the giraffe's journey. As they shared tales, the event crystallized into a collective memory, a moment given over to myth and story long before it was over. The chase provided rich material for poets and chroniclers, where reality blurred into legend, and the chaos transformed into the kind of cultural memory that weaves itself into the identity of a time and place. This unexpected alchemy of narrative turned chaos into a legacy of intrigue. After the dust settled and Rome sighed with relief, the day's events were etched into its collective consciousness, the giraffe's escapade preserved in the annals of time as both warning and wonder. The city returned to normal, the echo of this transient visitor fading into quiet reflection and whispered stories of a time when civilization paused to watch the unthinkable unfold. In its graceful flight, the giraffe had exposed the limits of Roman control, a testament to nature's uncontainable majesty amidst the empire's rigid order. As twilight descended, Rome held its breath, momentarily, pondering the tale it would tell, a city reconciled to its contradictions, swayed by the imperceptible dance between the mundane and the extraordinary. As dawn broke over a Rome slightly battered by chaos, its streets lay eerily still, haunting reminders of the previous day's frenzy, scattering the marketplace. Splintered stalls and crushed goods bore silent witness, while the Tiber River flowed serenely, indifferent to the human turmoil that had rippled near its banks. At the heart of this tumult had been the giraffe, a creature of majesty and mystery, now vanished from sight. In the senatorial halls, a tide of whispers gathered momentum, tales spreading like wildfire about the bizarre spectacle. Senators convened, their robes brushing against cold marble floors, concern creasing their brows. Each had arrived with stories, variably spiced with exaggerations or conservative understatement, depending on personal agendas. Rome's mood teetered between unrest and curiosity, pressing the Senate to address the disruption. Was it a sign from the gods, they wondered? What measures could avert such chaos in the future? Most pressing of all, how might they restore dignity to Rome's shaken populace? When the debate began, it quickly ignited, paralleling the fervour of the curious crowds only hours before. Accusations flew with the precision of arrows. Some held the giraffe's handlers at fault, their failure to contain the animal a direct catalyst for the disorder. Others targeted the crowd, their unrestrained enthusiasm seen as the spark that lit the riotous fire. Rumours even swirled suggesting the very presence of this exotic beast as a strategic misstep by the emperor himself. Yet an unspoken truth lingered heavily, the arrogance of Rome itself. Proud of its ability to command the rare and the wondrous, this incident exposed an unsettling vulnerability. Despite this palpable reality, many senators preferred to cast their rhetoric wide, eager to divert attention from personal culpability, and instead consider revisions to city security and public spectacle oversight. Amidst all this, the unaddressed question remained: how had a seemingly benign creature so utterly disrupted the peace? In a city governed by the whims of omens and the counsel of augurs, the appearance and subsequent pandemonium precipitated by the giraffe assumed a spiritual dimension. Priests poring over ancient texts sought divine insight into whether the giraffe heralded celestial messages. Across the city's temples, offerings and incense attempted to mollify any gods perturbingly amused by Rome's vulnerabilities. Interpretations varied widely. Some perceived it as a herald of Rome's burgeoning greatness, others as a sinister forewarning of doom. Certain senators, prone to superstition, saw the creature's serene disposition juxtaposed against chaos as profoundly ominous. They feared it embodied an angry deity, mocking Rome's arrogance in displaying its power. These voices called for ritual sacrifices and ceremonies to placate divine displeasure. Yet, in the cavernous halls, ponderings persisted. Could such rituals steer the already set course? Were the gods simply reminding Rome of its mortality? In contrast to this storm of superstition and blame, a faction within the Senate advocated for pragmatic understanding. These individuals deemed the incident, while regrettable, as a moment ripe for introspection and learning. They proposed systematic reviews of public gatherings to prioritise citizen safety, suggesting the chaos was less an indictment of Rome's grandeur, more a caution against unchecked spectacle. These pragmatists pushed back against more dramatic colleagues, urging thoughtful, steady reform. Acknowledging the potential for chaos inherent in mass gatherings, they recognised the giraffe, an enigma both gentle and unpredictably powerful, as emblematic of Rome's growing pains. In an empire expanding into the unknown, moderation and reflection could safeguard Rome's honour and showcase imperial wisdom. Overshadowing these discussions was the emperor's influence and his delicate dance with power and spectacle. For this fiasco uncovered a chink in the imperial armour, a variance in the control of exotic wonders that destabilised imperial invincibility. The emperor, accustomed to wielding the exotic as testament to his reign, now found an unforeseen ripple effect testing his grasp. How he chose to respond, whether by conceding a slip or recasting the narrative as intentional spectacle, carried immense weight. Would he acknowledge miscalculation or craft a narrative embellishing the incident as deliberate theatre? Senators watched eagerly, aware that the emperor's stance would either bolster their positions or force realignment. Quick to seize the narrative, the emperor and his aides spun the incident into artful rhetoric, transforming chaos into orchestrated wonder. Public addresses embraced the unpredictability of nature's majesty, suggesting a deliberate exploration of Rome's dominion over the wild. This tale of intended spectacle placated public nerves and protected the emperor's image, emphasizing wisdom in navigating the unfathomable wilderness. While perceptions calmed, the giraffe's fate sparked fierce debate. Some called for public sacrifice, adhering to ancient rituals believed to harmonize man and deity. Others advocated preservation. Valued as a wondrous asset, the giraffe could continue inspiring awe, transforming fear into intrigue. A new debate unfolded between tradition-bound senators and those inviting progressive enlightenment through alliance with the exotic. As the Senate moulded a narrative of unity and composed strength for public and foreign eyes, declarations of resilience permeated, dismissing any whisper of weakness. The crafted messages aimed at reinforcing everyday achievements, asserting Rome's enduring success despite unforeseen chaos. Public sentiment shifted over time, and Rome resumed normalcy while reimagining the giraffe's mystique amidst tavern chatter. The incident morphed into allegory, a reminder of innovation and nature's marvel as integral to Roman law. With stories evolving to herald creatures like the giraffe as expansion symbols, Rome prepared to embrace similar spectacles with learned wisdom. In reflecting, Rome found lessons in governance. Policy and practice adapted to the giraffe's bewildering journey through its streets. Crowd strategies shifted, emphasizing safety amidst wonder, learning from past tumult. Herein lay the delicate balance of power and curiosity, marking Rome's perpetual pursuit to adapt, understand, and perhaps even command the world beyond its borders. Through theatre and spectacle, Rome remained undaunted, an enduring pillar of civilization unbowed by nature's mysteries. The chaos of the giraffe's disastrous unveiling left Roman authorities in a bind, grappling with the embarrassment of a spectacle gone awry. Yet, in an empire where image was everything, turning this scenario into one of wonder became the day's challenge. The morning after the riot, a flurry of scribes and poets embarked on a mission, not so much to distort reality but to mould it, transforming the giraffe from a bewildering outlander to a creature of marvel, a herald of the unknown. As word spread through the bustling streets and echoing forums, they painted this exotic beast as more than an animal. It became a mythical emissary, perhaps a message from Jupiter himself. Against the backdrop of Rome's storied past, this unwieldy event quickly evolved into a tale of omen and marvel. Days rolled on, and the initial confusion began to settle into mythic proportions. The giraffe, unlike any sight before, was now the canvas for Roman imagination. In a world where fact often entwined with fable, narratives diverted the public gaze from the chaos to the creature's majesty, transforming a disorder into a manifestation of celestial fortune. This strategic reinterpretation played into Rome's tradition of recasting reality, where narratives were wrapped in symbolism, leading the public down a path of awe rather than derision. Within this cultural alchemy, poets found their muse. Taking the exotic nature of the giraffe as their focal point, they spun verses where the creature stood not just as a curiosity, but as a vivid emblem of the vast unknowns yet to be discovered. It was a testament to exploration, an embodiment of the divine crossroads between the realms of gods and mortals. Under their artistry, the giraffe was recast with the allure of Apollo's grace or Mercury's swift stride. These creative endeavours push the embarrassment of its chaotic introduction aside, replacing disarray with wonder. Roman poets, masters of melding myth with reality, transform disorder into a tapestry that fits seamlessly within their grand imperial mythology. Artists, not to be outdone, took up their brushes to rewrite the giraffe's story on stone and plaster. Where reality had seen panic, their mosaics depicted a city in rapturous awe, the graceful creature serenely placed amidst gods and ancient heroes. Floors, walls, and public spaces bore these colourful tales, with artful precision painting a moment of divinity bestowed by the heavens. By embedding the creature's image within the very fabric of Rome's architecture, an inadvertent frenzy was elegantly woven into a story of providence and celebration. Yet as Rome's elite crafted their narratives, the common folk also took the tale into their homes, weaving it into fireside lore. Amidst the crackling of hearths, oral tradition gave life to stories where the giraffe's journey was retold with embellishments that blended fact and fantasy, heroism with homespun charm. It was in these gatherings that the myth found its most enduring form, adapting over time, but always serving as an anchor to Rome's shared consciousness. As its story took flight, the very name that would define this extraordinary visitor added further layers to its tale. In the careful, deliberate craft of Roman scribes, the creature acquired the name Cameleo Pardalis, a title whispering of its foreign mystique and the intrigue it inspired. In this act of naming, fact met myth, and the giraffe's strange elegance was woven into the language of legend, its identity locked and yet open to reinterpretation. The political landscape was quick to seize this narrative, alchemy, for its own gains. By shifting the image from a mishap to a divine blessing, Rome's leaders fortified their authority. The emperor's reputation remained untarnished, a benefactor of celestial gifts rather than a ringmaster of failed circuses. Thus, the narrative lent itself not only as a shield, but as a banner of imperial destiny, reminding all of Rome's position at the heart of divine favour. Interpretations, naturally, were not confined to the political and artistic elite. In the realm of faith, priests and soothsayers interpreted the giraffe's appearance as an auspicious sign. Amongst their chants and offerings, it bore messages from the divine, standing as a testament to the mystical rapport between the gods and the city. Within sacred halls, it became a living symbol of spiritual affirmation, its presence entwined with Rome's sombre belief in destiny and divine oversight. While the initial shock of the riot faded, the giraffe's cultural shadow loomed large. The creature, once a fleeting oddity, now stood immortal in Rome's collective memory through the delicate interplay of art, story and belief. It became a symbol of curiosity and the bridging of worlds. It was a haunting reminder of the tensions between the ordered and the unknown, the mythic and the real. As tales of the giraffe spread beyond Rome, blending into the larger tapestry of the empire, it carried with it whispers of Rome's power and its reach to distant lands. And through this, the giraffe did not merely wander across Roman streets, but became an emblematic messenger, its story echoing through cultures as a reminder of an empire poised on the fulcrum between myth and history. Thus, in the rich tradition of Rome and its capacity for transformation, the giraffe's moment became a lasting fable, a fitting parable for an era defined by the dance between marvel and might. The giraffe, once a spectacular symbol of Roman grandeur, slipped quietly from history's spotlight as quickly as it had appeared. Amidst the bustling empire, tales of its fate whispered through marble halls, each bleaker or more fanciful than the last. Some claimed the majestic creature succumbed to the foreign Roman climate, fading into a silent sigh among the emperor's private gardens. There, nestled among olive trees and marble statues, its bones lay interred alongside a menagerie of other exotics, a solemn reminder of Rome's fleeting grasp on the extraordinary. Yet another tale spun a more enchanting end, suggesting the giraffe lived on in secret, meandering through a secluded villa where its caretakers fed it grapes from silver dishes, a luxurious haven, though heedless of its natural instincts. More grim narratives whispered of the giraffe's entanglement in Rome's relentless pursuit of entertainment. Some chroniclers suggest it was paraded through the blood-soaked sands of the arena, another victim of a venatio, where beasts and gladiators clashed to satiate the masses' thirst for blood. If true, the giraffe met a discordant end, lost to chaos beneath the amphitheatre's sandy soil, another casualty in the empire's brutal circus. Whether cherished in secret gardens or brutalised in public spectacle, its disappearance underscores its ephemeral celebrity and the stark realities of an empire where marvel and cruelty walked hand in hand. In a twist of fate, the discovery of giraffe bones near what might have been an ancient arena teased archaeologists and historians alike, hinting at the mysteries of its final days. Were these remains of the famed giraffe or another lost to time? Displaced and scattered, the bones seemed a jigsaw puzzle of the past, each piece whispering secrets buried beneath layers of history. Some believe the bones were hidden by handlers, an act of quiet defiance against the spectacle's cruelty, leaving a mystery encased in centuries of silence. Imagine if the giraffe lived within aristocratic gardens, a living artifact amidst lush flora, its presence a silent ambassador of power and sophistication. Imagine it shadow walking among manicured hedges, a delight for Rome's elite visitors, far from the public's chaotic gaze. In this peaceful enclave, the giraffe became a cherished pet more than mere spectacle, a living tapestry of empire's reach, framed in serene leisure rather than carnage. Here its existence was not a novelty for entertainment, but rather a symbol of prestige, resting in the gentle hands of privilege. Contrast this with the violent embrace of the Colosseum, a theatre of death where exotic beasts were unwitting actors in a bloody pageant. The giraffe, with its silent grace and imposing presence, might have crossed into this realm of raw spectacle, not as an adversary, but as a token of imperial might, a stage for Rome's dominance over nature. Here it was neither celebrated nor censured, merely a fleeting actor before an audience hungry for tales of blood and glory. As time marched on, legends and lore transformed the giraffe from creature to myth. In poetry and art, it morphed into a divine visitor, an emissary of distant realms reminding Romans of wonders beyond their horizons. This mythical beast, transcending its physical form, wove itself into Rome's tapestry, a celestial messenger blurring tales of fact and fable. Mosaics and sculptures captured its enigmatic essence, sending the giraffe into eternity as an icon of divine and earthly realms intertwined. In the story of the giraffe, Roman society glimpsed its reflection, an empire of grandeur juxtaposed with cruelty, curiosity tempered by a cultural dance of power. The giraffe's saga mirrors the duality of Roman civilization, a society grasping for the extraordinary, yet wrestling with its inability to tame it. Its story is a testament to Rome's dynamic tension between enlightenment and superstition, majesty and frailty. Over the centuries, as artists captured and reimagined the giraffe's tale through mosaics and frescoes, its legacy continued to enchant. This creature became a muse for generations, an emblem of exploration, ensnared in a world thirsty for wonder, a symbol immortalised in art, reflecting human fascination with the unknown. Through time, its story reverberated in art and scholarship, inviting new interpretations of the exotic and the extraordinary. In the end, the giraffe's narrative transcends simple categorization, transforming into a metaphor for a complex society and a world ever teetering between brilliance and barbarity. It's a symbol of the outsider, yet one embraced by a society wrestling with its contradictions. The giraffe, beyond its role in Rome, becomes an invitation to explore universal themes of belonging, of the silent and misunderstood celebrated and discarded in equal measure. Today, as scholars and storytellers revisit its legacy, the giraffe continues to cast a long shadow across history, its presence a beacon of perpetual wonder. Each narrative variation becomes part of an elaborate tapestry, urging us to reconsider ancient perspectives through modern eyes. Its echo lingers as a timeless reminder of the interplay between art, history, and human imagination, inviting us to ponder our place in time's endless narrative. A whispered legacy of beauty amidst history's clamorous march. In the ancient city of Rome, everything had its place, much like the pieces of a grand mosaic. The empire thrived on order, hierarchy, and the belief that the world was theirs to categorize and control. Yet when a giraffe, with its bewildering elegance, sauntered into the heart of the city, it disrupted this tidy perception, standing as a living anomaly that defied classification. Unlike the beasts trained for spectacle, the roaring lions or obedient horses, this creature was an ethereal visitor, a cosmic riddle wandering the streets. It demanded nothing and submitted to no collar of Roman design, bewildering spectators with its grace. The giraffe, with its otherworldly height and calm gaze, seemed less of this earth and more of a forgotten god from a distant realm. To the Romans, accustomed to spectacles of dominance and control, the giraffe was a quiet rebuke. Here was an animal that didn't challenge with brute strength, but with its serene detachment from the chaos around it. As the crowd watched it glide by, a quiet realization crept in. Even Rome, with its reach-spanning continents, could not tether the mysteries of nature. It was a gentle reminder that not everything could be owned or categorized, that the world still held marvels beyond human reach. Those towering Roman ambitions met their match in the creature's silent elegance, a presence that refused to bow to the whims of spectacle. For the people of Rome, the giraffe embodied a more profound truth about their empire. Its presence hinted at the fragility beneath Rome's facade of invincibility. The empire had grown used to presenting itself as unassailable, a bastion of order amidst the chaos. Yet the giraffe revealed the cracks in this narrative. Its very existence was a testament to the unpredictability of life and the limits of Roman authority. With its alien grace, it quietly mocked the idea that Rome could master everything it encountered. Here was something that couldn't be tamed or performed for amusement, drawing the line against the empire's limitless hubris. Amidst grandiose displays and spectacles, Rome's penchant for decadence had begun to seep into every facet of life. Ordinary blood sports and rituals no longer sufficed. The Roman appetite craved the bizarre and the exotic to capture attention. The giraffe, with its elegant indifference, stood as a stark contrast to this insatiable thirst for novelty. Its calm aloofness offered an unintentional critique of the superficial obsessions consuming Roman society. In its serene passage, some saw a whisper of dissent, a reminder that true power lay not in garish displays, but in the quiet confidence of being unmovable among chaos. The empire's vastness was a marvel of its own, a tapestry woven with threads from lands far and unknown, yet the giraffe prompted a moment of introspection. This strange creature inadvertently spotlighted the empire's struggle to maintain control, both of its sprawling territories and its citizens' reactions to such an unprecedented spectacle. Rome, it seemed, could conquer distant lands, but not curb the emotional surge of its own people as they encountered this mysterious giant. Here was a painful irony: the seat of power, mesmerising with its own image, blindsided by a giraffe that seemed to herald the empire's own unreachable magnificence. The excitable human tide that flowed in its wake revealed as much about Rome as it did about the creature. The giraffe became a litmus test for the mood of a city living on the edge of its own myths. Accustomed to the extraordinary, the Roman populace found itself mystified by a different kind of enchantment, one that didn't scream for attention, but whispered of distant horizons. The chaos around the animal mirrored the discord within Roman culture, as citizens jostled with the tension between tradition and a dawning awareness of their time's complexities. In this creature, there was both a fascination with the exotic and a confrontation with the unknown limits of their own imperial reach. Despite the chaos, the giraffe left its mark on Roman culture, weaving itself into the artistic and mythic tapestry of the city. Roman mosaics immortalised its graceful stride, and poets found in it a new metaphor for the ineffable mysteries of the world. In stories, it morphed into a creature of legend, blending seamlessly with the myths of gods and heroes, its presence a testament to Rome's endless curiosity for the unknown. This fascination transcended the momentary panic it incited, elevating the giraffe into the realm of timeless symbols. It became an embodiment of wonder, a reminder of the beauty in life's unknowable aspects and the limits of human ambition. The giraffe's sojourn in Rome became a silent commentary on the impermanence of power. Its serene demeanour was a counterpoint to the empire's obsession with eternal legacy, subtly pointing to the inevitability of change. Rome, with its monumental architecture and grandiosity, yearned for permanence. Yet the giraffe's brief visit highlighted the truth that even the mightiest are bound by the passage of time. Just as it arrived, it departed, leaving behind the soft truth that the grandeur of empires will one day fade, replaced by the relentless march of history. As the dust of its visit settled, the giraffe's legacy endured as a symbol of wonder and humility. It sparked a dialogue that transcended its physical presence, inspiring stories and reflections for generations. In historical accounts and art, the creature became an allegory of the eternal dance between human ambition and the mysteries of the natural world. The giraffe's odyssey through Rome left an indelible imprint, reinforcing the truth that marvels, like empires, require humility and contemplation. In conclusion, the giraffe's unexpected encounter with Rome became more than just an enigmatic anecdote. It was a gentle lesson on the limitations of power and the unpredictable nature of life. To an empire certain of its dominance, the giraffe imparted wisdom on the constraints of human understanding and control. Within its silent passage through Roman streets, it taught of humility, beauty, and the contemplation of things beyond human grasp. If you found this glimpse into Rome's past enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe for more captivating tales from history's rich tapestry.